Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to make a video that I've been wanting to make. Just not sure how to put it out or what to say. I'm going to talk about my journey with dealing with depression and postpartum anxiety. I want to preference this with saying that I have not been clinically diagnosed with either of these diseases, I guess you would call them, whatever you would call them. I have not been clinically diagnosed, but this is just my experience and my story. So, depression. I have always been a person that dealt with situational stressors and depression probably pretty well. You know, something happens in your life, you get sad about it, and then I move on. And I had been like that about pretty much every situation that I had encountered in my life thus far. Then I got married. We lived a fun, great life, you know, being just married. And then we tried to have another child, and that's when I encountered my infertility, depression. And I think most people going through infertility have experienced depression, but nobody really talks about it. Infertility is like a black hole, or at least it was for me. It was a black hole that I felt that I was sinking deeper and deeper in, and I couldn't get out. So starting infertility treatments, we were diagnosed with unexplained infertility. So we went through fertility treatments on and off for 3 years, and then did some stuff on our own with no success, until we finally became pregnant with my daughter, Brooklyn, who you guys have seen tons on this channel, who is currently 15 months old. But those 3 years, the first year, I'm not really feeling, it's my same situation. You know, some moments are sad when my cycle starts, but I can get out of it. You know, after that passes, I'm excited for the next cycle, and then the chance for new things and, you know, a chance to have a baby. As our infertility journey went on, and as we sought out help we did IUIs, and then those started failing, I started to sink deeper in this infertility, depression hole, as I call it. I remember probably the year before we did IVF, I would literally cry every day I was alone by myself. We do have a son that is almost 15 years old, but I remember I would drop him off at school and cry on the way to work. I would stop crying when I got to work. I would do my job, and I was a depressed person that was functional. You know, I didn't look sloppy. I was always put together. I always had a smile on my face. I was happy and social around other people. I went to work every day. I did my job. I'm a teacher, and I did a really good job at my job. But any moment I was alone, I was crying. And to do that for almost a year, it wasn't normal. And then towards the end, it just started to get really bad, where people that were close, my husband knew all along, because literally I would probably cry every night. I would probably cry 2 hours a day if you add up all the moments of me being alone, and then at night. And then it got to the point where people that knew me best, my mom came for a visit, and I was just not myself. I felt like I was a shell of myself. Like I was walking through life and just walking through the motions. Sorry, that's Brooklyn downstairs. I felt like I was just walking through the motions of life. Like I would take my son to school. I would take him to his sporting activities. But I was just walking through these situations. I wasn't really myself. I was faking a smile. I was present and I was there. But it was like an alien took over my body. Because in the core, I wasn't really me. I was doing all the things like I always did. You know, I behaved as a mom. I did the stuff as a wife. I did the things as a teacher. But inside, I wasn't okay. And my mom, like I said, had come for a visit. And she was like, something is wrong with my daughter. So that's when me and her made a pact, because I was the most sad when I was alone. So we made a pact that when I would come home from work or go to work, whenever I needed it, I could call her and talk to her. So I literally wouldn't cry the 40-minute drive that I have home from work. And that actually was beneficial to me. Infertility is hard on not just you as a person. Like I was injecting myself. I had all of these hormones, which I'm sure contributed in some sort to my depression. But it affects like everything. Like I said, I was a shell of myself. So I know I wasn't the 100% wife that I could be. I wasn't the woman, frankly, that my husband married. I looked like her. I went through the motions like her, but I just wasn't her. And the same thing as a mom. I did all the things I was supposed to do. I attended all the activities I was supposed to do. I engaged with other moms, but in my core, like I really wasn't me. And I think my mom saw that. I was her daughter and I was going through all the motions like her daughter, but something was not right. I remember leaving Thanksgiving. I had gone shopping. We were having everybody over for Thanksgiving, and I got a panic attack because there would be so many people at our house for Thanksgiving. And when I should be happy, my family, I don't get to see all the time, but I got anxiety that there would be 20 family members at my house, and I couldn't hide me. I couldn't hide my crying. I couldn't hide how sad I felt inside, and everybody would know. So I got the biggest panic attack. I remember being in Home Goods shopping for, I needed a tablecloths and napkins, and I just like got in the car and broke down in tears. And this was a normal occurrence. I literally would have tearful breakdowns multiple times a day. If I was alone, I was having tearful breakdowns. And it was just not a good place to live in. It was not a happy spot to live in. I didn't like it. I didn't like me, to be frank. So I developed little things like with my family. My mom gave me a devotional book, which I need to go grab, that I would read a verse every day about just being grateful. I got other literature that I started reading. That year, it was so crazy while I'm going through like this horrible infertility stuff. I literally had more parents pregnant in my classroom than I had ever had in any school years. But one of those moms, she had gone through some infertility struggles herself. And one day through a passing and a talking, she was pregnant. She had mentioned it, and I remembered I think my eyes kind of welled up with tears. I didn't cry, so to speak. I think I cried later on when I got in the car because she started talking about her journey with infertility and her struggles. And it was the first time I had spoke to someone that I truly related to. I had a supportive family. My family is very supportive, but they just didn't understand me. The people around me, my friends, were extremely and immensely supportive, but no one had gone through what I had gone through. So I felt like no one understood. And this was the first time that someone spoke the words and said the things that I was feeling. She talked about attending her friend's baby showers when she was going through infertility and crying before she got there, crying on her way home. And this year I had a lot of people that were pregnant, and I did those same things. I remember having panic attacks before baby showers, but I still went because it was the right thing to do. And then having a panic attack on the way home. But I didn't feel bad about going because it was the right thing to do. And I love these people and I wanted to support them on their beautiful journey. But this was the first time I had someone, and she just happened to be a therapist too, speak and say the things that related to what I was feeling and what I was thinking. So for me, I started reading lots of literature. I read the book, The Infertile Mom, and then I had my devotional book, and I found comfort and I found release of my stress in these books, and I started to feel good. I'll link them down below, the books that I read. And then having actually somebody to talk to. And that same year, when I was ready to go through my IVF journey, I had a parent that had gone to my same doctor. Like, this was the most coincidental thing ever, that had gone to my same fertility clinic. I live in California, San Diego, California. There's tons of fertility clinics. In my building, I think there's 3. But I had a mom in my class who also was pregnant too, that had gone to that same fertility clinic and that had got pregnant. And she gave me encouragement and advice. And my transfer was successful. I don't know how my depression would have grown and went if it wasn't successful. I'm not a person, I'm not ashamed. I would have gone to a doctor and sought help that way. But I didn't have to do that because of the people that I had in my life. And I sought help through God and literature. But I'm a person that if things would have gone any further than they did, I was pretty low. I felt like I couldn't have gone any lower. I would have sought help in other ways. But I just wanted to share my story and my feelings, because infertility or any depression can be a very lonely, isolating situation, and you will feel like you're alone and nobody relates to you. And I wanted to share my story so that somebody out there maybe can find this video and feel the comfort that I felt. This rolls me into feeling postpartum anxiety. I think this had a lot to do with my journey to getting pregnant, which was so hard and so difficult. My pregnancy was a breeze, and anything I encountered in my pregnancy, I took it as a breeze, because the place that I started at was so low that we can only go up from here. So after I had, my pregnancy was fantastic and great. After I had my daughter, I always assume I'm a very high-strung person, and I've always suffered from some sort of anxiety. I hate being in large crowds. I hate going to places that have a lot of people. I feel anxious. I feel sweaty. I feel just uneasy. I just have never liked it. It's not a thing of comfort for me at all. It's really bad. Family functions. My husband has a large family. Family functions give me anxiety. I love the family. I love engaging and doing things with them, but large family functions like stress me out to no end. I smile, I talk to other people, I put on a happy face, but usually I am extremely stressed out. Going to the mall stresses me out. So, gives me anxiety. I try to avoid any of those situations at all costs. Certain things you have to do. I'm a teacher. I have to talk and interact with families, children all day. I just make it work. Family, you're going to have to attend family functions. I just make it work. But those things aren't of comfort to me. They cause me great anxiety. So I've always had some sort of anxiety in my life. I've never taken medication for it. I've just kind of dealt with it. I breathe through it. I will, talk with my husband. I will just figure it out, so to speak. But after I had my daughter, I don't know if it's because it was so hard to have her, I felt postpartum anxiety with leaving her. Like I remember my mother-in-law saying to me, "Oh, if you ever need me, call me." Like I was never going to call her because I was never going to leave my daughter. Like even if anybody held her, family, friends, I was keeping a watch eye out and not wanting to leave the situation or leave her. It was just a moment of source of just great stress. Going back to work was a whole nother thing. Like, I didn't even cry right after I had the baby or anything. But going back to work, the thought of going back to work, I started crying 2 weeks before, probably every day. It stressed me out. Everybody would tell me, once you get back to work, you'll get in the swing of things, you'll get used to it. I've been back to work, how old is Brooklyn? 15 months. Yes, I function with it, but I am not in the swing of things. There are days or times that I still cry. I still get sad. And Brooklyn's at work with me. I'm a teacher and she is on site. I can go to her classroom anytime and it still causes me anxiety. So I've had to just kind of get used to it, expect that if I'm choosing to work, which I need to do to help support my family, I'm going to have to let go of things and let other people care for my child. That doesn't mean that I don't get anxious. That doesn't mean that I don't get stressed, because I do. It's just really hard for me. I don't know if any other mamas have ever experienced this, and I don't want people to feel bad. I remember I started feeling bad because everybody told me it'll get better, and it wasn't getting better for me. And then I started feeling bad, like there must be something wrong with me, which there was. I was having anxiety and every day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see everybody in my next one. Bye.